There's a breaking ball in for a strike, and he stood there like the house by the side of the road and watched it go by. Struck him out. That's the third strikeout for Holiday.
Bottom six, still 2-0 Cubs. Bases loaded for Chicago. And the pinch hitter is Matt Mieske. Rich Rodriguez in. So is Lance Johnson and Sosa. It's 4-0 Cubs.
Infield in double play depth for the Mariners. They've had a lot of ground balls so far today. Here's the pitch on the way. He swings and fouls it off. It'll reach the seats over back of the Tiger dugout. And the man from Walla Walla will take that one home.
A lot of room in right center. If he hits one there, we can dance in the streets. The 2-1. Swung line drive left field. One run is in. Here comes Green. Here's the throw to the plate. He is safe. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win.
Right-hander against the right-hander. The outfield is straight up and deep on Fielder. He is the DH today. Swing. There's a drive to left. That one is long gone.
The Hot Stove Series on the Corners is brought to you by Morris Richardson Real Estate Associate Broker Brent Church, Ogemaw Family Dentistry, Think Thalen and Kristen Valier Jr.
Russell pitches, Williams swings, there's a high drive, going deep, deep, it is a home run against the tip top of the right field stand. A tremendous home run that brought in 3 runs and turned what looked to be a National League win into an American League 7-5 win.
And welcome back to the JJKN Hot Stove, the On the Corners podcast brought to you by JJKN Media. My name is Jason Newsham. I am your host. We have a show lined up for you tonight that will take you back, but before we get there, there's so much has happened on the MLB front. The Tigers have not signed Alex Bregman as of this podcast. Hopefully that is something that is still being worked out and coming to fruition. That would be a great upgrade at the third base position as well as some veteran leadership. We all know the Tigers had a great run to finish out the 2024 season, and maybe getting another voice, another veteran voice, someone who's been there, done there, someone who can be an extension of A.J. Hinch in that clubhouse will be just what the Tigers need to keep them on the path going forward. We saw Juan Soto sign a bazillion-dollar contract with the New York Mets. We've seen the Dodgers continue to spend, and they are showing no signs of letting up in their attempts to become back-to-back World Series champions. But we're going to do a little throwback today. We are going to go back and listen to an interview at spring training 40 years ago, 1985 spring training. Dale Shellman, the late Dale Shellman, had an opportunity to talk with some of the greats of the baseball world in 1985. And this guy that we're going to listen to today, arguably one of the greatest hitters, Athlon Sports listed him as number 3 all time. And Bleacher Report had him as number 4. I think anywhere you're looking in the top 5, you're going to find this guy. He batted .344 for his career, 2654 hits, 521 home runs, and 1,839 RBIs. He is the last man in MLB history to bat .400 for a season, and he had a career on-base percentage of .482. During all of these accolades, he still had time to serve in World War II and Korea. Of course, we are talking about Ted Williams. So if you want to close your eyes, take yourself back into 1985, February, down in spring training, the late Dale Shellman sits down with the late, great Ted Williams. Enjoy the podcast.
Well, Ted, so nice to see you again. You're looking good. By golly, you look like you could still be playing.
I'm still breathing, so I guess that's pretty good at 66.
Yeah, you betcha. Well, the greatest hitter, I'm sure, to ever play the game. Ted, do you consider yourself that, in fact?
I wouldn't say that. No, I think I was one of the better hitters for sure. But if you put me in a class of a Ruth and a Gehrig and a Cobb and a Hornsby and a Musial and a DiMaggio and an Aaron and a Mays, and a Simmons and a Fox. I'd be happy.
Ted, how has the game changed since you were playing?
Well, I think the biggest change actually that's happened in this game is AstroTurf. I think that the whole concept of the game has changed because of that. I mean, they emphasize more speed, less hitting ability. They emphasize more defense, and it doesn't seem to make too much difference if you're a 208 hitter and hit 25 home runs, or a 267 hitter that hits no home runs. I mean, there's certainly, I am positive of this about this game. There is not the hitters in this game there used to be.
You know, Ted, your philosophy was, and I guess I've read everything that you've ever been quoted as saying, or anything you ever printed, less than 2 strikes, get your pitch to hit. Ted, you don't see that today, do you?
Well, you certainly don't want to swing at a ball that's fooled you up to 2 strikes. You don't want to swing at a ball that's a questionable ball that even if you swung at it, you probably wouldn't do nothing with it.
Yeah.
So you might as well wait up to 2 strikes to try to get a good ball. Now, if the pitcher just so happens to fool you or get pitches in the spot, and he's got you in the hole, then you have to concede something, and that's something that some of the truly great hitters didn't do enough of. They bordered on the great hitters. They were great hitters, but not the greatest, because with 2 strikes, they didn't concede that one little factor, and as a result, they struck out 2,000 times.
Are you teaching hitters that today, Ted?
You always teach that. You always say, hitting is just as important from the neck up as it is from the physical abilities from there down, and so certainly that comes into the repertoire of the whole thing as far as a hitter's concerned.
Ted, how has money affected the quality of play?
I'd hate to think that affected them. I would personally think it would stimulate them to even try to do better than ever in the history of the damn thing. I'm not ready to criticize the young player to the point of saying that just because he's making all this money, he doesn't want to do it as bad. I can't quite say that.
Would you want to manage today?
No, I wouldn't want to manage. If I were 30 years younger than I am right now, why, I might consider, because being in baseball is an awful lot of fun. Gee whiz, a lot of fun.
Is it fun today, do you think, for players?
Oh, sure. If it isn't, why, something's wrong, drastically wrong. This is the greatest game, and, it's over a long period of the summer, and you can have a lot of fun. Certainly winning is fun. Losing more than you win isn't so much fun, and that would be one of the criteria as to whether or not managing would be fun, as to whether or not you had a good club.
Do established ball players, Ted, do they appreciate the fact that you're down here working with them in the spring? Do they come to you for advice?
Oh, they come to you for advice. I hope that I can be of some help down here, talking to a young player or giving him a little extra zing as far as confidence is concerned. I see a kid and immediately I say, boy, you look good, now keep going. Or I might say, you look good, but I want to talk to you about this. And I mean, you're always instilling confidence in a young player or trying to stimulate him and let him think, here's an old player that had some success, thinks he looks pretty good.
Do you feel that compared to when you guys were playing on the great Sox teams that you played on, do you feel that there still is, in fact, that intensity and dedication that you guys have?
I'll tell you, athletics build that into you. So I think that certainly everybody plays with intensity. You've got some guy against you that's doing things or doing it better than you, and you get stirred up and say, well, I'll do it as good and try to beat him. He's getting the glory, he's getting the write-ups, he's getting all the print. That would make me feel, well, I'm going to straighten this out a little bit. I got to believe that any athlete wants to win and it takes pride and that type of thing.
Ted, do you think some of the older ball players, I'm not talking about a Ted Williams now, but some of these guys that just didn't make the wise investments, didn't have their things together like you did or you do, do you think there's some bitterness on the part of the old ball players, the guys that really established this game, and now today's agents and other folks are taking advantage of this game?
Well, what I think you're talking about more than anything else is they're not bitter at the game, but I think they feel just a little bit bitter about the fact that this game has got so lucrative as far as the retirement plans of some of these younger ball players. Some of the older ball players, if they're bitter, it's because they started the retirement plan, for example. I think that's what you're really talking about. And I think the thing that they started the plan, they contributed to the plan, and a guy that could have been a great player makes less in a year than some players that you can't even name are going to make in a month. And I think that fact has to be corrected a little bit. And it'll be interesting to see what the powers of baseball do about that, especially in this very, very, very important round that's coming up right now.
Ted Williams, a real pleasure to see you again, Ted. Thanks so much for the interview and the very best.
Let me show you something.
Okay.
Take that thing off a minute.
All right.
The reason Ted asked me to turn off my tape recorder was because he wanted to talk about the unfair treatment that players from his era were receiving. In other words, they played for peanuts, and when they retired, that's what they got was peanuts. As a result, Ted was frustrated because of the lack of support from today's players.